David Dobrik fucked up. A lot.
In case you didn't know, this happened.
Situation with these women. I'm not talking publicly, I'm saying even privately. I didn't reach out to any of these people, and that breaks my heart knowing that I was doing all this stuff and I was making all this content while there was people that were still really hurt by what.
And that happened as a result of this.
With the Seth situation, I'm sorry to Seth because like I said, I just want to make videos where everybody in it, whether you're participating or watching, is enjoying and having a good time. I missed the mark with that one, and I'm really sorry. I truly, truly am.
Not really being received very well. Basically, if you're unaware, Trisha Paytas was a former Vlog Squad member. She dated Jason Nash way back in the day, and they'd broken up. She made a video exposing David Dobrik as a terrible human being.
David's on a whole other level of being an actual horrible person.
And that video kind of got swept under the rug and didn't really have any merit because everyone sided with David and everyone thought Trisha Paytas was crazy. Trisha has more recently been appearing on the H3 channel on the Frenemies podcast co-hosted by Ethan Klein. Trisha kind of explained some of the messed up stuff she kind of had to endure as a member of the Vlog Squad and said that other people had other bad stories as well. Ethan seemed pretty intrigued and honestly a little shocked by a lot of these things that Trisha was throwing out there, and they ended up having a pretty lengthy conversation about it.
Oh, here it is. Take it. Take it, block. Or maybe the first part got blocked. Him explaining
the stuff with Jason and those bits. One, I did not consent to those things. I did not. David also shouldn't have done it. Period.
I don't want to hang around with this guy. You know what I mean? It's like this guy is fucking just looking to leech everybody's life force out for his fucking dumbass vlog.
Yeah.
This ended up leading to Big Nick and Seth Francois both doing interviews separately on the H3 channel, which eventually kind of spiraled the situation further and further for David.
But it is kind of like a cult. Yeah, it's like a high school vibe, very cultish like vibe. And
starts going, and then it's going on for a decent period of time. And then after Jason pulls off his mask, and I realized that, I just was touched by someone that, I did not, consent to having their tongue. And I'm sorry, it is a little bit hard to kind of like talk about this because like this situation, I know a lot of people because also I'm a man coming out about something that's like a sexual battery, sexual assault type of situation. So it's kind of hard to believe, a person that is speaking about something like this. But basically, after he took off the mask, I was, it was a split decision. I was like, it's one or two things, like either be natural instincts and be the angry black guy in the room and start yelling at everyone and get physical or whatever that might entail, or I can kind of just, go along with it and, maybe I'll have some new friends that, will support me in my ventures moving forward.
And I gotta say too, shout out to everybody over at H3 for, I've been a fan of H3 for a while, but they really did their homework on this, and all the guys involved in the production did a really good job. Ethan and Hila are great. Trisha does phenomenal on Frenemies, so shout out to them. It's one of my favorite channels on YouTube. Also, you guys crucified AB, and I'm still really sad about it. He had one bad take during this whole situation, and everybody murdered him. So, free my guy AB. He doesn't quite talk as much anymore. And so after Big Nick and Seth explained all their stuff, David obviously didn't respond. Instead, he did somewhat send Scotty Sire to go out and respond on behalf of him.
That he hoped that David had a new computer and didn't have the extra 4 hours of footage that surrounded the 4 minute and 20 vlog that included the bit of him consenting to the prank. But what you're doing is fucked up, Seth.
And I got to give it to Scotty on this one. The brain on this guy. Okay, basically Scotty comes out and his defense is that David is a nice guy and David wouldn't do this and because he's nice to me, which is bad, and then shows some text messages that David himself sent to Scotty, a video of him talking in it. It's kind of weird. So it kind of tells you that David was involved in the video in some way, basically explaining that Seth wanted to do it a third time.
Seth literally requested to do it a third time.
Guys, this is a text from Seth from about 2 years ago. He goes, yo, bro, I was thinking about it. I'm down for another kissing sketch. I said, haha, what do you mean? He goes, lol, I don't really care as long as you clout me up. I'm not gay, just don't care. And then he sends me this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's the same shit. Just, I don't know, more open-minded.
Seth did eventually come out and say that it was like kind of doctored or edited voice recording to make him sound like he was asking for it a third time. So I don't know how real all that is, but I mean, David's track record right now isn't looking very good, and I'll get to that in a minute. So eventually the article comes out from Insider detailing Hannah's experience, which is like a placeholder name for the girl who was actually involved in that vlog, so she didn't have to give up her real name.
The accusations were revealed in an investigative report by Insider's Kat Tenbarge. The unidentified young woman accuses Zaglatis of engaging in sexual activity with her that night while she was so incapacitated by alcohol that she could not consent, according to Insider.
And she basically explains that Dom had essayed her that night, and that it was primarily facilitated by David, as none of the girls really wanted to do anything, but David basically told somebody to go get alcohol to make the girls loosen up, which sounds ridiculous. Like, I don't know how something like that like actually comes out of your mouth and you think like, oh, that's a good idea. So this happened, and David releases an apology on his smallest of his 3 channels that was 2 minutes long, titled Let's Talk, where he didn't let you comment, didn't show the like to dislike ratio, and didn't really address anything head on. The video's already been ripped apart, and mostly because it really seems like David was putting it on his smallest channel and not really addressing anything specifically, not allowing for a dialogue, primarily for the reason of not alerting people that weren't already following the situation, because a lot of David's fans weren't privy to the knowledge that people like myself that were following the H3 channel had, or other people that were following the situation. I would say a vast majority of David's fans really didn't know about it. And after the first apology, I think everybody thinks that he was trying to keep it that way. Obviously, it was met with terrible amount of backlash. He also had his sponsors drop him.
Several brands David partnered with announced they were taking a step back from working with him.
At this point, I think 11 brands have come forward to distance themselves from David in some way. What ended up happening over the week was that a lot of sponsors put out statements that they would either be reconsidering their relationship with him or terminating any sort of sponsorship they had. And in addition to that, in a sort of unprecedented move, the venture capital community that has invested in David's startup Dispo actually took back that investment and agreed not to profit further off of the app as long as David was involved.
And then, he ended up releasing his second apology that I showed at the beginning of this video.
I want to start this video off by saying I fully believe the woman who came out against Dom and said she was by him. As was reported, the next day I got consent to post the video. Even though I got the consent to post that video, I should have never posted it.
I'm not going to lie, the second apology kind of looked like he was took notes on the Frenemies episode and was like learning from Trisha Paytas on how to do a good apology, with him like showing that he was sitting on the floor, showing that he was alone, and it was interesting. But a lot of people, a lot of his fans immediately at least thought it was like him doing a very good job owning up to his mistakes. But a lot of other people, myself included, were pretty skeptical of like the timing, because 2 weeks prior he was sending Scotty to the Wolves basically to get ripped apart, and basically victim blamed Seth. So it was tough to believe that like you really meant this one when you tried to do the other one and it didn't work, and the sponsors left, and like now it's like, oh shit guys, I really am sorry. It's like, well, are you, or are this, are you not going to get any sponsors if you're not? And then Jeff Wittig from the Vlog Squad, he was also mentioned in the article that he had allegedly, he was the one that David had sent to go get booze. It was between him and Todd, I believe. Jeff basically released a video kind of denying that, and then somewhat threatening the author of the article by kind of sending his fans to go harass her almost by putting her Twitter up at the end of his video.
So fuck it, I'll put the video in.
Jeff, I am very, very sorry to hear that. Like, I feel like you were more of an innocent, well, I feel like you were more of a bystander in the overall conflict, and I am very sorry that that is headed your way. I don't think that anything else is going to come out that will, like, involve you specifically, because...
Are you sorry to hear it, or are you sorry that, like, you worded it that way, though? Like, it sounds like...
I mean, I'm sorry to hear it, because ultimately, like, I had to do that for my job. Like, that's just, like, what I had to do with the information that I was presented with. But I am sorry to hear that.
Don't paint me like I'm a piece of shit, because all I got to do is release the rest of this phone call. And, you know, I'm not trying to get people fired. That's not my goal. I understand you're trying to get a story out about a serious crime that was done to a girl, and I support that. But what you did was not do good research, and you brought down a lot of innocent people along the way, and you put a paywall on it.
Then he went on the Frenemies podcast and basically admitted to not reading the entire article, also sort of bending the truth as to how long he was there and involved in the video. And it could have been a lapse in memory, but it seemed that he wasn't really sure when, because his story changed a couple of times. And then Ethan brought up evidence of a new picture that showed all of the members that were in the vlog still there at the end of the night.
Well, let me ask you this. You say you were there for 15 minutes. Do you stand by that still?
No. I was there for probably 30, 45, but I did go home. I didn't stay.
Were you there the whole night?
No.
So you say you were there for 30 minutes. So can he see this photo I pull up, Dan?
If you do a screen share, you know how to do that?
Well, you can look at the stream, I guess, if that's possible. What I have here is a photo at the end of the night taken at 1:18 a.m. from one of the witnesses, one of the girls there. It has in it all of you guys outside.
Okay. To my recollection, I wasn't there for 2 hours.
This photo is timestamped at 1:18 a.m.
So Jeff basically then does a second video apologizing for the first video and deleting the first video.
All right, so I deleted my last video titled My Truth because turns out I had some things wrong from my memory, and there was a lot of things I said wrong and did wrong in that video.
And someone called David out for not speaking up.
I tried to blindly defend my friends when, truthfully, if something like this happens, you need to speak about it. You need to tell people. You need to take action because you...
And then also donated some money to RAIN. RAIN is an organization that helps victims of sexual assault, which I'm not going to lie, I personally appreciate it, just because Jeff was like my introduction to the Vlog Squad, believe it or not. I think for most people it's usually David Dobrik, and then you find other people. I was a fan of Jeff's because I saw the Cody Ko incident because I was a fan of Cody, and then Cody went on there and there was the big Jake Paul thing that was funny, and that's how I started watching Jeff's videos, and then eventually found my way to David's vlogs. And I loved the vlogs. I watched all of them. I watched every single one that was out. Some of them were deleted, like this vlog apparently was deleted however long ago when David first found out about all this, but instead of addressing it, kind of just slid it under the rug and deleted the video quietly. So I wanted to catch you up briefly so you knew what we were talking about if you didn't already know. Obviously, there's a bunch of videos that do a much better job of this. You could go through on the H3 channel and follow it like episode by episode for however many weeks that it went on, and they did a phenomenal job, like I said. So I'm going to link some of the best videos that I've personally watched down below, and you can check those out. Other than maybe a handful of people, I think most people that have been talking about it aren't really fans of David's, weren't ever fans of David's for that matter. And I just wanted to give a different perspective. I'm not about to do some Scotty Sire shit, so don't fucking be
typing in the comment, oh, you're trying to stick up for David. No,
that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to explain as a fan's perspective what I kind of want to see from David moving forward, or from anybody in the Vlog Squad, and what I think fans should do. I think personally, I'm not really going to be checking for anything David Dobrik for a while. I mean, if it comes up, I'm sure it'll be recommended to me because it'll be the first time he would have posted in a while, because I'm sure he's going to take a little bit of a break here. But I do think what David did in facilitating this sort of environment, like not necessarily doing the act that is absolutely irredeemable like Dom did, but by creating an environment that could let that happen. And that's not really the only thing that had happened that's being under the microscope. There's a lot of other things to do with the vlogs and bits that have happened in and around them, and the way that they've interacted with people and each other, that stems kind of from the environment he created, that I think kind of shows and tells a lot about him and what he was willing to do. Now, I don't know that it makes him like an evil person, but it definitely pokes some holes in the image that we kind of had, as myself had, at least, as a fan of his. And I think it would be a mistake to try and go back to doing something similar. I think for me personally, it wouldn't make sense for him to ever do something like the vlog. I loved the vlogs. I'm not going to lie. I liked them. They were fun videos. Everybody on YouTube liked them. Everybody enjoyed these videos. They were, these what seemed to be friends joking with each other, messing with each other, doing crazy, ridiculous things. And it was done in this way that made you feel like you were a part of it, kind of, which is a little scary now looking back. But I don't think he can do that, because I will never know what joke is sincere and what isn't anymore. I think the path to potential redemption for David is probably going to look similar to Logan Paul's redemption. And I know that, like, their two things are a little bit different, but there's a lot of similarities where, when Logan was canceled, nobody thought he was ever, I think a lot of people thought the dude was done forever. Like he was going to be rich and just stay away and, maybe pop in here and there. But I don't think anybody would think he would be back doing brand deals and being on The Masked Singer. What? I know he's had views for a while. The podcast, obviously, being an actual fan of his, I know he didn't just start the Views podcast recently, like that just the video version is. But I think if he and other members, that the ones close to him, are going to have redemption, it's going to be through some sort of long form content like Logan Paul has done with Impulsive. I think there's a lot less room to hide. And I think there's a lot less room for things to be misconstrued. Like, you can have a tense conversation and maybe people think, oh, whatever after an episode, but we all got to see the whole thing for ourselves, and I think, in hours and hours of podcasting, as someone who does a podcast, it's pretty apparent. If you're a bad person, it's going to shine through eventually. Like, you can't keep hiding. Like, if you're going to edit this tiny 4-minute vlog, you can cut out all the shit that you do wrong, you do or say that's not so great, But when it comes to a podcast and you just have a conversation with no cuts with somebody for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, it's a lot harder to hide those imperfections in your personality. And I actually think in a lot of ways that's what's helped Logan Paul. I think that he has been able to just show who he really is, at least a little bit more. I don't follow the podcast a whole ton, but it seems like from what I read in the comments and the couple episodes I've caught, like, that people have pretty much come around on this guy. Everyone's like applauded the growth and whatnot. So, why can't David do it? I'm sure that David and his crew would be able to do something like that. It's just a matter of if they want to or not. And I think as fans of David's, as a former fan of David Dobrik and the vlogs and everything, that's kind of what I expect out of him, is to grow up, in the sense that he needs to be himself and not just whatever he thinks will get the most views. And I bet he gets the most views when he does that. I bet he would. I don't know him personally, so maybe I'm wrong. That's what I think he needs to do. As for like people like Jeff Wittick, it seems like Jeff is a good dude. I think by not reading the article, he dug himself a hole where he just looked really bad on the Frenemies podcast, and he looked really ignorant about all of the issues that were going on because he just didn't know, because he didn't read the stuff. But it seemed like since he didn't read it, he was just trying to like cover his ass and cover his friend's ass. And I think since then, it seems like he is obviously taking accountability for what he's done and said wrong in his involvement. And has also shown that he's not just this like lapdog for David or something like that. And so I think there's definitely a path to redemption for these people. Dom, no. I'm not saying the Vlog Squad are terrible people. I don't know them the way that someone like Trisha Paytas does, but I do think that the only way out is honesty. And if they can't do that, then they'll fizzle out, and it'll be a weird thing that everybody on YouTube looks back on and is like, wow, remember when the Vlog Squad was a thing? And so I'm not really sure. I honestly don't really know. as terrible as that is, if I'm trying to feel like I was trying to make a good point here in this video, and I really don't know what the answer is. I don't know what David should do. I don't know if I should even give him a second chance, you know? No, I hope he grows from the whole situation. I hope he figures it out. I hope he becomes a better person and he atones for the things that he did, but I'm not like, you know, actively rooting for some sort of comeback. But if he's able to do so and able to come back in an honest way and do good again. I know he was doing pretty much like wholesome content towards the end of his reign, if you will. So, you know, if he can, you know, balance that with some realism of his true self that doesn't kind of show the dark side of getting views and whatnot, then I think, you know, there's definitely a chance for that. Like, obviously David's done some really bad stuff, and obviously he's done some things that really hurt people and been a part of things that hurt people. So I don't know that it's like quite the same as the Logan Paul situation, but I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys see when you see this situation. If you let me know if you've been following it. Let me know if you've been watching all of the Psych IRL and H3 breakdowns. There's another one. What's her name? It's like chill T artwork. I don't know. I'll fucking put her name up here. All these people commenting on it who I really respect and value their opinions, and they do a much better job conveying them than I do. But yeah, you guys should check out them. And you guys should let me know what you think David should do, because I really don't know. I'm lost, and I don't know how to end this video. So